What's going on, guys? It's Thomas at Ford Sports Media. Let's do a breakdown of the 2024 Dynamic Discs Open FPO playoff that just happened. There's a specific reason I want to go over this clip, but let's go straight into the recap. So we've got a cumulative playoff going on, meaning that between holes 16 and 18, they're going to do a loop. And instead of playing one sudden death hole, they're going to go and they're going to play all three aggregates. So it's Missy Gannon and Hailey King. So Missy starts off with her tee shot on this island hole, throws it at a little wide to the right-hand side, and it skips up and lands here. And you'll see that the spotter actually is unsure of whether or not it's in bounds. And so Hailey King goes ahead and throws. She leaves it a little high, lets it stall a little bit, and lands pretty much right outside the bullseye. That should be a pretty easy birdie for her. And Missy Gannon is just inside and runs the death putt and sinks it. They were talking about her laying this putt, and look at this, just barely make it in. They talked about her laying this putt up because it's an aggregate playoff. She's got 2 more holes to try to catch up, but goes for it anyway. So they're both 1 under for the playoff specifically. Missy Gannon still up first, throws a great tee shot. Hailey leaves hers a little bit high, and you'll see it clip this branch right here. Lands, and she's going to be pretty out of position and just trying to get as close as she can on her second shot so she can go up and down for par. So she's going to land up here. Missy Gannon will step up here and throw her second shot on this par 4. And I mean, this is a beautiful looking throw. It's going to go straight in here and land right inside the bullseye. Hailey King, very close, leaves it out left. Just absolutely nuts. So she's got a very interesting one, and she's going to lay up. So Hailey King is going to go and take a bogey. Missy Gannon takes this birdie right here, and that means there's a 2-stroke differential going into the final hole 18 of this playoff. So Missy throws a very conservative shot on this par 4. Hailey really goes for it. She needs a birdie, hoping that Missy's going to take par, so she tries to pump it up this way, and it scoots out of bounds. You'll see this is very close right here. If it's not on the other side of that paint, it's out of bounds. So Missy is just free and clear to lay up, go across, try to secure a par. Hailey throwing her 3rd shot now to go over the water. Hailey's looking to take a par right here, and Missy is about to go and throw her 3rd shot over the water as well to try to secure a par. Now let's listen to this interaction that comes up here shortly.
She went birdie, birdie, birdie.
The par.
Oh, par.
Yeah, she could have birdied if she wanted
have.
to, though,
She
right?
could have.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
She could have.
Yeah.
So we'll see that Hailey King is calling Missy Gannon for a foot fault, which is interesting because Hailey King is already 2 strokes behind, threw out of bounds, so she's not going to make up 1 stroke in this case regardless, unless Missy just chokes out of her mind. Missy says, I don't think that actually happened right there. Hailey thinks that she's calling it, and they overturn the call. So it is chosen to not be a foot fault. Let's look at this. Slow down. Missy goes and right here releases the disc. I don't see any movement on the disc yet. She pivots the foot after release, and then you'll see it taper up just a little bit. So we'll go backwards right here, thanks to the Disc Golf Network for doing that. She spins. It's well out of her hand by the time that it actually, her right foot hits the disc. So they do not call it a foot fault. Missy's sitting here like, that's a little bit of an awkward one. The question here is it a petty call by Hailey King? I understand the idea of, hey, I've got to win an event. I'm going to keep a look down here, but I think it definitely was way too close to be called. And so Missy goes up, taps in here for par. Hailey gets the par. She wins. Missy's going to raise the trophy up right here. Let's look at this awkward hug right here. It tries to dap up, ends up going for the hug. Not entirely smooth right there. Probably a little bit of tension in there. Gets the hug from Holland. And then we run it back here to the commentator. So drop a comment. Let me know if you think that this was petty or if it was not petty. I'm curious on your end if you think that this should or should not have been a foot fault call, and if you think it was in bad taste that Hailey King did it. Now, Missy Gannon is potentially known for doing some foot faults that don't always get called, but there's a lot of things that probably don't get called, and so I'm curious on your thoughts. So this was Thomas at Ford Sports Media. This was a breakdown for me. Let me know what you think.